welcome back. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful day. My name is Lauren Heistad, author to the book Homecoming, and we are at chapter 25, Angelic Encounters. When I first started to practice energy healing, I also began to incorporate my own special volunteer time into my days. It all started one afternoon in a hospital waiting room as I was sitting in the outpatients area. Weirdly enough, it was not that I was there for an appointment, nor was I sitting there waiting for a friend. I went to the hospital simply to clear my mind. Not the most common spot to go, I realize. But there's something about seeing all those people struggling with their own unique life issues that makes you gain clarity, doesn't it? Makes you gain clarity on the important things in your own life and creates focus on the things you truly aspire to do. That day I closed my eyes while sitting in the middle of a very busy waiting room with a buzz of activity all around me. As I moved my awareness from the outside world to my inside reality, I began to drift off, becoming less and less aware of those in the room and more aware of my own inner being. At one point during my soulful journey, I started to visualize how life would be as a full-time healer. I imagined how wonderful it would feel to utilize my soul potential to help others on a regular basis, empowering and teaching those in need. How wonderful it would be, I thought to myself, if all my experiences within the spirit world and knowledge of energy healing could be utilized with purpose and heartfelt intentions on a much, much bigger scale. My SOULworks business was already starting to grow by now, but progress was certainly slow. The majority of the world was still very unaware of the power we hold within ourselves to create positive change within our reality. Sometimes I even still question this line of thinking myself, despite all the evidence I have had to prove otherwise. At this point in my life, during my angelic encounters, I had managed to actively start putting myself out there as a healer and more fully believing in the messages and guidance I was receiving. Shocking, I know. I was also more confident and intent to work with the spirit world and help others shift physical, emotional, and spiritual imbalances. However, this era of my life was also considerably shaky and volatile as I struggled to trust myself and my knowledge as a healer. If I were able to work and do this job, would my client base and bookings not reflect this truth? If I were able to help change the world, would I not already be successful at changing my own dreams into reality? Or at the very least, be able to minimize the chaos in my life? It is a good question. My client base at the time was at a bare minimum. I was attempting to grow my business from out of my home. Again. Lost my place. Let me see. I honestly have no idea where I was. Just admiring the fact that I'm at home again, I guess. And most of my experiences with healing and mystical encounters still focused on family and friends. If I were truly able to help heal and bring balance to this world, why was it so darn hard to bring balance to my own life? Knowing full well that if I were to truly follow this calling, and leave my old career entirely behind me once and for all, the realities of this world needed to be addressed. Specifically, my client base and reach definitely had to expand so I could help support my household and put food on the table. It was that simple, but ironically, not always that easy to achieve. Still, to this day. But an inner calling is an inner calling, hey? Honoring the process, here we go. Lacking in the actual clients to work on at the time, I began to transcend my fears and wondered, how could I utilize my time to help those in need, even if they didn't know where to find me? Deciding to try this theory out and realizing the irony of sitting in the middle of a hospital at the time, I began to envision myself moving up on my cloud of enlightenment to connect with the spirit world while still being present in the actual building. I let my conscious drift between the floors of that hospital, focusing my energy on specific rooms and then further focusing on actual patients within the facility. Through this process of a focused intent, I remember visiting a young child using only my mind. I talked to this beautiful young girl about her current cancer journey, and I remember helping to remove the disease within her young body and reassuring her everything would work out just fine. I promised her she would be running and playing again within the year. I also remember visiting an elderly lady in her last moments in this world. I comforted her and reminded her that all the blessings that she had held within her lifetime. I watched as many of her most cherished memories played out before her eyes, and then witnessed her deceased family members arrive to escort her to the other side. I remember how relaxed she felt, how relaxed and how overjoyed her energy field became as her loved ones entered the room to take her home. To this day, I still reflect on the feeling of her complete surrender. I often wonder about and strive to replicate this feeling of complete faith in the path of my own soul works. Complete faith. It's not only just prior to death, thankfully, that we are able to move into clarity and fully grasp the blessings experienced in our lifetime and those yet to come. There is a knowing. There is definitely a knowing one can achieve even when we are faced with large shifts in our life. Where we can still completely trust in the process and our spirit team to guide us through. I remember vowing to replicate that beautiful process of pure surrender toward the changes I was currently facing. Ironically, I was at that same hospital about a week ago and reminded myself once again of complete faith in our own processes. I remember vowing to replicate this process of pure surrender and the changes I was currently facing. A second time. If my inner guidance had gotten me this far, then surely it would continue to naturally evolve as I became more and more ready to let go of my fears and become the healer and teacher I knew I was. At one point in this magical moment of clarity, I started to become more aware of my physical surroundings. Realizing I was still sitting in the hospital, my mind became more grounded into the earthly dimension, and my awareness shifted gears as I heard people talking all around me. I became acutely aware of the constant buzz of activity that had previously ceased in time, but clearly had continued to move during that entire process. I slowly opened my eyes and looked around the room. No one was even aware that I had moved beyond the limitations of my physical body and visited people within the hospital. Some people even thought I was sleeping, I mused to myself as I became startlingly aware of the 2 hours that had passed in what seemed like a moment in time. No one seemed to notice that a healer was at work right there in the waiting room. Furthermore, no one was aware that I myself had completely surrendered to my own process that day. No one, that is, except me. Truthfully, that is really all that matters. We do not need to seek approval or validation from anyone. Thanks be. We only need to accept it within ourselves. It is okay that I volunteer my time on a different level than many others. And it is also okay that not everyone will understand the magnitude of these encounters. It is between my soul, the soul of those involved in the healings, and my spiritual team. However, this I know for sure. The ripple effect of any heartfelt energy work, moves beyond time and space, helping to raise the vibration of the earth and the awareness of all beings, whether it is consciously noticed at the time or not. Months later, I did receive the added bonus of my own personal validation, confirmation of what I did for those people and continue to do as often as possible truly makes a difference. My confirmation fittingly came from a psychic who, of course, would be very aware of our capacity to interact with others on a soul level. I was having a personal reading with someone who, yes, I do that every once in a while. It's good fun. I was having a personal reading with someone who had no prior knowledge of my volunteer time at the hospital. My guides conveyed through this medium the image of me sitting in a hospital, in a waiting room, working on people within the facility. Isn't that amazing? They wanted to bring awareness to two things. First of all, they appreciated the work I do because it truly does make a difference. And secondly, and certainly more validation than I was expecting to hear, they explained how the patients I visit within the hospital not only feel my presence, but also see and hear me as well. They attributed these experiences to the same stories you hear about caregivers walking into a room to bring comfort to someone in need. They further explained these patients often convey the timely visitation to family members or a nurse on duty, only to discover no one else saw, heard, or felt their presence of this mystery visitor. Nor does anyone on the ward fit their unique description. And not that these encounters are dismissed as never having happened, but that they are viewed as a blessing and attributed to an angelic intervention of divine proportions. I've since had many similar experiences that have been confirmed by the people I visited. Whether they were in a hospital setting or just laying around their house in a dreamlike state. I have received countless emails confirming the dates and times of angelic encounters with people in this world. They have received healings and messages where they have recognized me, Lauren Heistad, as delivering the energetic exchange. And where I myself have remembered and sometimes even documented having been called in to help. Truth. My heart bursts. It bursts with joy and my eyes with tears when I think about the magnitude of this reality. Evolving your soul works. Intention is key to manifesting change in this world. There is no degree of difficulty or task that is harder than the next when it comes to working with spirit to create change. We can truly and miraculously manifest a healing as easy as we can manifest a rock star parking space down at the mall. The process used in both endeavors, regardless of the perceived difference in magnitude, is actually the same. It's the same. So regardless of what projects you're putting your mind towards, the trick is to see them all as equally plausible and attainable. That can be tricky sometimes. Have faith. Decide on your goal. Set your intentions towards your desired outcome. Have faith in your ability to manifest the results you desire and visualize the changes taking place. Move fully into your heart instead of your logical mind. And finally, surrender to the infinite power within yourself and all that is to help make your dreams a reality. Sounds too simple. I realize, but that is the exact process I will utilize for healing, astral traveling, connecting with spirit guides, or just achieving many of the smaller chores and tasks in life. The key to expanding your consciousness and inner power is faith in yourself. Harder to achieve than we sometimes think. Faith in ourselves. It shouldn't be that hard. We have to learn that. Okay, so faith and then practice. Learning to connect with your spirit guides takes time and dedication. So too does learning how to more effectively co-create our world. More effectively co-create our world. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. But it's doable. Yes, we can co-create our world every day. But what I am talking about is consciously choosing to make our world a better place. As an intuitive healer, I have been blessed my entire life with many miracles and wondrous demonstrations of the divine. I have. What I have come to understand is that although faith in the divine is certainly a significant factor in the creations of miracles, the main component to a magically inspired life involves having faith in the divine within. It is within this state of mind that we set ourselves up to receive astounding and uplifting moments through intricate synchronicities and breathtaking connections to all that is. I have also come to realize the profound healings and miracles that affect others occur when we are able to move out of our logical minds and completely into our hearts. When we learn to trust our feelings and propel ourselves forward during moments of heartfelt inspiration, we are living within a miracle mentality. Our desire to help someone must be stronger than the desire to prove we can, or fears that we can't. When we learn to love a complete stranger in their times of need, as much as we would love and send compassion towards one of our own, then we become closer to the heart and soul of divine proportions required to create uplifting change. Learn to trust that we all came into this world hardwired to achieve this state of being. I know I have. And I know you have too. Your move. Go on a soulful journey. It is not just shamans or mystical gurus who can travel through space, time, dimensions, or realities. We all hold the power to project our energy into another location simply by using our mind. Whether it is to visit a friend in the future, enjoy an exotic land from the past, or just to check in on your house in the present. Did I leave the stove on? Of course we can tell. We all are capable of dropping in for a visit. Once you get proficient at this energetic focus, those you drop in on will also become aware of the encounters. Start by focusing your attention in a room within your house. In your mind's eye, notice the furniture in the room. Hear a clock ticking or an appliance running. See what you left sitting around. Then ask Spirit to bring your attention to something within the room you've not thought about for a while. Trust in the images, words, or thoughts that randomly pop into your head. Spirit works very hard to impress those ideas into that brain of yours. So pay attention. Follow the flow of the energy and watch what unfolds. Secondly, expect miracles. Always expect miracles and believe in the significant power within you to create change. Whether it is to help someone through a trying time, bring more love into the world, or settle a dispute at work. Once you know the basics of creating miracles, all things are possible to those who believe. We are in this world governed by the laws of free will. Our intentions and expectations are incredibly important to co-creating our existence. So is our ability to state our preferences and then detach and remove any resistance to the final outcome. Detach. Using your free will liberally, lovingly, and wisely is key to creating positive change. With experience, you will begin to receive confirmation that your thoughts are making a difference in your own life and those around you. These confirmations are integral. They are to the development process as they serve to strengthen your faith and expanded potential. Strive to make your heart a priority, your mind connected to all that is, and your faith centered on the divine within. In doing so, you will begin to further develop your miracle mentality, a state of mind that is truly more logical and magical than first meets the eye. Be of service. There are There are many wonderful causes, volunteer opportunities, community services, and outreach programs that are greatly needed in this world. Being of service to others is a heartfelt way to provide balance not only to those in need, but also for your own soulful growth and development. I recommend selecting a volunteer opportunity based on your own personal passions and desires to create change in this world. I find people are far more helpful and of service to this world when they are coming from a state of joy and love. The state of joy and love is only obtained by following your own heart, not by responding to guilt or societal pressures. Remember this. Next, observe the blessings. Can you hear that? Mother Nature is singing sweetly in the breeze. Can you feel that? That's not what it says. Goodness. I gotta start again. Because I like this paragraph. Can you hear that? Mother Nature is singing sweetly in the breeze. Can you see that? The divine light is shining down upon you with great favor. Can you feel that? Our universe is basking in the rays of love, light, and positive change. Can you appreciate that? Count all your blessings in the world, starting with you. When you become more acutely aware of all the wonderful energetic connections and blessings happening all around you, you become more engaged in life and more connected to your own spirit. Being connected to the essence of who you are expands your own inner awareness and outer blessings. When you wholeheartedly demonstrate your gratitude to the world for the countless blessings in your life, the world responds back wholeheartedly with endless blessings and gratitude. Namaste. And lastly, step into your power. It is far easier and far more rewarding than you think to simply stand up and be true to yourself. Stand in your power, sure-footed and strong, even when the wind blows. We are all in this universe to be a clear and unequivocal voice of our own inner spirit. Allow that part of your being to surface Allow it to surface. Your own true soul energy. For this I know to be true. You must first step into the power of faith before the universe will provide the support to honor that faith. You must first step into the power of believing before the universe will provide the evidence to confirm those beliefs. You must first step into the power of miracles before the universe will reciprocate and provide you with miracle upon miracle upon miracle. You must first step into the power. I'll see you there. Thank you.